Ready? Very good. Good morning, everybody. Happy February. So I'd like to call a very sunny, very pretty wintry day on Tuesday, February 8th, meeting of the Kane County Board to order. The hour is, what is about 9:48. Please call the roll.
Allen,
Allen, present. Good
morning. Bates,
Bates here.
Berman,
Berman here.
Brown,
Brown here.
Davis,
Here.
That wasn't Davis.
Davis,
That's a voice change.
Again.
Ford,
Or present.
Praz,
I was here.
Gums. Gums, are you
Comes
here?
here.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you. Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Kenyon,
Yes, here.
Gaius,
Vice President.
Topi,
Opie's here.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Lewis,
Lewis here.
Martin,
Martin present.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Shepro.
Shepro present.
Okay, Silva,
Silva's here.
Strathman, Surgis, Tepe,
Debbie here.
Wallace. I'm sorry, is that you, Mr. Wallace?
That was Davis.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say Wallace is not present. Waniki,
Present.
you have a quorum.
Davis is present.
Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Davis. And Mr. Ford, could you please introduce who you're, we're having a little change of schedule today in honor of Black History Month. So Mr. Ford is going to be having the convocation as well as the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, don't get up yet, mother. This is gonna take a minute, so I'm gonna take my time on this. This young lady is known as Pastor Dorothy M. Hicks. She's also an elected official on the Aurora Township as a trustee. She's also chairman of the Aurora Township Senior Advisory Committee. She's a member of the Senior Service Advisory Council, and also she's appointed member of the Township Youth Advisory Board. Now, there's many other boards that she's belonged to. I know she's also involved in the, I believe it's the Minister Alliance. Ms. Hicks is a retired 25 plus years Provena Mercy Hospital in VNA nurse. She also a CCS medical, wounded care patient educator, passion serving comfort and helping the youth and seniors as what she's considered reward. In the community, along with myself, we consider Pastor Hicks and refer to her as Mother Hicks. She's also has people and aware of in the township of what is needed, especially with the COVID, of all the terms and opportunity there are to be served and have opportunities with the senior citizens with activities. She is a mother of 14 grandchildren and 9 great grandchildren. Her oldest son, who is known as Matthew Hicks, but is referred to as Skip back in the day, was one on the team that went downstate in Aurora for this West Aurora. Also, I believe he was also one of the first out of the area to go overseas and play pro basketball. I just want to say personally, when I was in high school, I witnessed this guy who was recognized for basketball time and time again show up at the high school to work out when all other practices are done. So it taught me at a young age, no matter how good I was, I needed to work harder to be better. So Mother Hicks.
All right, thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to pray now. Could we just bow our heads for a moment? Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be your name. I count it an honor to represent you today with this board. I pray for their success in all that they do and in all their decision-making. I pray for blessings in this community, this city, and this state. There's much unrest over our nation. I pray for healing of our land, and may we all fulfill the purposes which ye have been elected to do. God bless America. In Jesus' name, amen. Thank you.
That was lovely. Thank you. Thank you. This woman is quite a powerhouse, and you can't be in Aurora without getting a chance and be honored by her company. And if you have a special treat for coffee.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Very good. Thank you. We have 2 minutes to approve. So may I please have a motion to approve the minutes from January 11th and the 14th of 2022?
Praz moves.
Wonicky seconds.
Thank you, Ms. Winnicky. Are there any edits or changes? Hearing none, seeing none online. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ellen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Praz, yes.
Gums,
Comes, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kopey,
Opie, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Jepro,
Jepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Strathman, did you arrive? Surgis,
Burgess, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Wallace, and Winnicky.
Yes.
That passes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We're now moving on to public comment. And as a matter of protocol, we ask that the speakers refrain from statements, remarks, or conduct that may become disruptive to the conduct of the county board or which may cause a disturbance. I know we have several speakers today. Patrick Caulfield, would you like to speak? Or do you want to comment on your zoning?
Only if anything gets brought up regarding my zoning.
Okay, okay, very good. Thank you. Katie Baki?
Hello, good morning. I'm Kate Bakhti. I'm from Geneva, Illinois, and I'm also helped start a group in King County called Concerned Citizens of King County last year. We're not a nonprofit or anything, but I'm here to speak for myself, but a little bit about that.
I'm sorry, excuse me, you are
Sure.
speaking off
I'm
agenda?
speaking for myself.
Okay, but nothing relating to the agenda today. Just
Right,
want,
correct.
then you have 3 minutes. Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, thanks. I'll be fast. I have concerns. We have meetings twice or once a month. And last November 10th, we had Bobby Piton come and speak at our group. And we don't endorse candidates or anything like that, but he came as a candidate for the US Senate. And he brought up some concerns that a lot of us had already. And I'll get to that in a minute. I'll go back after the election of 2020. I talked to Jack Cunningham's office here, I forget the name of the gentleman I was passed to, but he does the elections. And I expressed concerns because of things that I was hearing, and he assured me that everything was cool and there was no need to be concerned. However, he did say that in the Oberweis-Underwood election, Oberweis was winning the night of the election, and it was only the mail-in ballots that put Underwood over the top on election night, or it must have been after the election night. So that's concerning to me, especially the people that I talk to. It doesn't, I'm not saying anything happened wrong, but I have questions. So when Bobby came to speak at our group in November, he said that 9,999 people registered to vote in King County within 30 days of the election in 2020. And he said he gets the documents because he's a candidate for election. Another like 8,000 registered to vote after that. So he also said to our group, this guy, speaking of our King County clerk, should be arrested. This guy's a criminal. And we have questions. We have a lot of questions, and I think there's enough questions out there to be concerned about this, and it should be investigated. There's a lot of questions in our group. How can we be confident the same people who are running the show before are running the show now? And I'm asking or calling for a full forensic and independent audit and of the 2020, November 2020 elections, for us to be sure that we got the results right. And if that doesn't happen, we just ask why. I'm speaking for myself, Kate Bhakti of Geneva, Illinois, not for any group, but I talk to a lot of people. We meet at least once a month. And we cannot have full confidence in this group or in county government. You still have your flag with the gold trim, which is a big indicator that this is not American body that we do not respect. So thank you very much. I hope that you guys act on this very important issue because nothing else matters besides the election.
Thank you, Kate. Lori Baker. And Lori, are you speaking to agenda or off agenda?
On the agenda.
On the agenda?
Ooh, that's really loud. Good morning. I'm Lori Baker, President and CEO.
You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. It will not take that long. I'm President and CEO of the Association for Individual Development, or AID, and we are one of the big 6 community mental health centers in Kane County that include Ecker Center, the Family Service Association of Greater Elgin, Tri-City Family Services, Mutual Ground, and Family Counseling Services. I'm here to encourage you to authorize the execution of community support grant agreements as the workforce crisis continues to devolve in Kane County. We currently at AID have 650 positions, 150 of which are vacant at this time. And then we just have experienced the Omicron surge, where we had anywhere from 30 to 50 staff members at a time that were ill as well, which makes it very difficult to provide the services and supports that people with disability needs. We cannot close on Tuesdays or, close early in the evening because we support people who cannot be left by themselves and need that continued support. We have all agreed to the big 6 using this funding for sign-on bonuses, of which we have agreed to pay the same amount so that we're not working at cross purposes against each other, as well as retention bonuses for our current staff. Of course, this would only go for Kane County behavioral health employees. We are a much larger organization than that. And so we are scraping around and working out ways to be able to pay this bonus and the retention bonus and the sign-on payments to everyone, because we have vacancies in all of our programs. So I just thank you very much for continuing to listen to the not-for-profits in Kane County and doing what you can to get money into our hands as quickly as possible in order to try to ameliorate the effects of our workforce crisis. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Mr. McQuillan? And sir, are you speaking on or off the agenda?
On the agenda.
On the agenda, and you have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Bob McQuillan, Batavia, Illinois. Got to use my cheaters. On January 11th, by consent agenda, this board approved amendments to the use of purchase order cards. And today, by consent agenda, you are scheduled to approve amendments to the tuition reimbursement plan. These changes are in direct response to spending $58,000 plus on an employee's tuition and also on training, quote unquote. You all know that the IT department head abused both the tuition plan and employee training. If that were not true, there would be no reason to amend either of these items, and you are amending both. The public will never know the answer because the current board is hiding under quote unquote attorney-client privilege, even though the public paid the attorney's costs and her salary. Some of you were not on the board when the abuse occurred, but you are on the board since this abuse was made public. Each of you had the ability and responsibility to demand this abuse be dealt with and that Roger Fonstock be publicly disciplined, if not terminated, as to the former P-card and tuition rules stated. Not one of you has made a comment at any board meeting about this issue. You have hidden by the false statement that Madam Chair speaks for the entire board. I'm sorry, but each of you were elected by your district voters, and you have a vote and a say. No one votes for the entire board. They vote for an individual. You owe it to your district voters to speak out not only on this issue, but every issue that comes before you. Every taxing body says that the public is welcome to their meeting, realizing that is their business meeting. There is always a public comment section on the agenda, but questions from the public are never answered. My parents taught me when you have a guest in your home, you treat them with respect. Do you do that when a member of the public takes the time to attend one of your meetings? I was going to take the balance of my time and remain silent so you can feel what it is like when you say nothing at a board meeting on public comment. Unfortunately, many of you wouldn't understand what I was doing by staying silent. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. McQuillan. I believe that ends our public comment. May I please have a motion and a second to place the public comments on file?
So moved.
Caius move.
Mr. Caius, Mr. Iqbal? Yes.
Sturgis.
Just for edification, the tuition reimbursement policy is not on the consent agenda. That was removed and it is on the agenda for today.
That's correct.
So I just wanted that in the record.
It was on as late last night.
All I got is right here.
Yeah.
I looked late last night online, and that's what the public knows by.
Well, we will be talking about it, but thank you.
It's actually the second time.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Raz,
Raz, yes.
Gums,
Yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Gopi,
Opie, yes.
Leonard. I'm sorry, Mr. Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro. Mr. Shepro,
Jeffro, yes.
thank you. Silva,
Yes.
okay.
Hello.
No, that was not. It was-
Silva, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Silva. Surges.
Pepe, yes.
And Winnicki,
Yes.
that passes.
Okay, wonderful. So now we're on to old business. At last week's executive committee, we had a lively and thoughtful conversation about the county code -2-48. And Mr. Iqbal has some comments, as well as our state's attorney, Michelle Neerman, recommended two options of where we could move this discussion to have it vetted out. Should I say 2-48? So we could bring it to your attention in an appropriate manner for further discussion and eventually your vote. So Mr. Iqbal, you had a suggestion of where you thought we could hold this conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, for the opportunity to
The
speak on.
microphone,
To
please.
speak on this matter today and on the previous exec committee meeting. This section 2-48 is about the self-governance of the committees. And it has not been revised for a long time, and I believe it is time to revisit it and update it if possible. We met in a very unofficial or loose manner as an ad hoc committee. And the question was raised, why not bring it to a standing committee? I serve on the Human Resources Committee, so I talked to my chairman, Mr. Surges, and requested if he could review it and put it on the agenda if possible. And he has agreed to that. But I also hear that you have some other suggestion through the state attorney's office.
That's correct.
To make a subcommittee of the executive committee meeting.
That's correct.
Of the committee. So I don't know where we are going. Both avenues are open, but this is a thing that we need to revisit and update if possible.
So right now, we're just talking about the logistics, where we're going to put it, and then we can get people to work on it. And we've already got volunteers who've graciously accepted to go through this. State's Attorney Mosser, do you have a suggestion, or could you explain if it was going to be a subcommittee of the executive committee, how that would work?
Thank you. Yes, it would be a subcommittee of the executive committee. One of the things that we had recommended is maybe that it goes through human resources, because that would be a great standing committee already to start to discuss this.
That, I mean, should we all agree to that? Can we just by consensus be a good place to house it? Okay. very
Excuse me,
good.
Madam Chairman, was that two options?
We have,
Or one?
we have two separate options that was recommended.
The easier way would be to already assign it to a standing committee. And one of the suggestions that we made, given what we're looking to do, is that the Human Resources Committee would be the best option.
So,
Can
or we
I
could-
ask Shepro a question?
yes, Mr. Shepherd, absolutely.
What is the I mean, other than Mr. Surgis's leadership, which is always welcome, what's the rationale for it going to Human Resources as opposed to, say, the Judicial Committee, where I thought amendments to the rules of order had gone in the past.
So our looking at everything, is that the proposals that were being made or what was being discussed went beyond what the Judicial and Public Safety Committee usually dealt with. The Human Resources Committee, which is looking at the county in the entirety as opposed to this one section, is why we thought that that would be a better placement for it.
All right, so now we have three suggestions: judicial, public safety, human services, and a subcommittee of the executive committee. So I think the subcommittee of the executive committee doesn't seem to have any favor with anybody, so unless I'm not seeing it, we'll put that to side. Judicial, public safety, because of the rules of order, regulations, legal ramifications, and human services, because it deals with the work that we do with our communities and with each other.
Madam Chair, Sturgis.
Bates, please.
Let Ms. Bates speak. Yes, please.
I would like to suggest that putting this into human resources seems like the best way to do this and the least complicated. So I would confirm that idea.
Okay, thank you.
And put it under Mr. Sturgis's leadership.
Mr. Sturgis here. Our doors at the committee are always open, so.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Any other comments?
Copy, please.
Yes, Mr. Copey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think the more vetting as possible would be the better option. So why couldn't we run them through both committees? And I would support that. And also, I would not support the subcommittee, since it dilutes an authority, and the opinion that comes out of a subcommittee would not be a complete vetting, in my opinion, considering all the board members versus the subcommittee. And then the membership of the subcommittee is to be determined. Then the other question is, I don't know exactly what is the reason that we need to examine certain committee structures or procedure. Thank you.
Madam Chair, again, Sturgis, at a board meeting, probably not the appropriate place to discuss that in length, but Tom, if you'd like to give me a call, I'm happy to take it offline and we can talk for a half hour or so and try and update you. And for everybody, this would follow the normal and customary committee routine. So while we might start it in human services, it would then move to the next level. It would not be a unilateral decision made at human services. We're just the ground zero. So
It's a place to do the work.
Yeah.
And Mr. Copey, just to give you an understanding of the language, literally, I would ask you, if you were to attend this meeting, for you to stand on 2 feet to address the board. That is literally what is required. I use that metaphorically. I prefer you sit and address the board, but stand is in the rules. So this is the kind of language that we're taking a look at to bring it up to contemporary terms, and also to take a look at some of the antiquity of some of the language that's included in our committee assignments. So it's just a review.
If I understand, there has already been some vetting, and we have brought it to this point with a predetermined notion. Then, and as far as standing, does that infer that a person or board member that is zoomed in needs to physically stand, or does he need to be present at the board?
As soon as the order from the governor is rescinded because of COVID-19, and hopefully it will be rescinded in the near future, we will all be well and healthy, unless the state legislature allows us to continue our Zoom meetings, yes, sir, you will be asked to attend the meeting.
I understand. Thank you.
So I think we have consensus for Human Services. Yes, we're all good.
Davis with a question, comment.
Oh, yes, Mr. Davis.
The language that you're referring to that I think says shall rise, but the effect is the same. The antiquated language and issues that come up, throughout this, as Mr. Iqbal has pointed out, would make me think that there are places for all of the standing committees to look and maybe, divide and conquer, as opposed to laying it just at the doorstep of Human Services. Perhaps we could ask every committee chair to, put this on their agenda and have a look at it, as it pertains to each of their standing committees, and begin the process that way, and then come back and give their reports or thoughts. And at that point, maybe we have to pick, and Human Services might be the logical spot, but have everyone that's, on a standing committee take a look at it as it pertains to that committee and start there.
I'm looking at our state's attorney, and she made a face that looked like that would be okay.
It is okay, because in each of all of this, it talks about what each committee does. And if there's something that they want to
Exactly.
propose from their own committee level, it does completely make sense.
So I think we're all going to rise to your suggestion. All right, so here's where we stand as a summary, and we can move on from this. It's going to be housed in Human Services Committee. Each of the standing committees are going to be taking a look at their description of what the standing committee does in 2-48. You are going to review that in the next 2 months. That'll give everybody enough time. That'll give you 2 meetings. Put it on your agenda to review. Once you're satisfied with the review, you will then bring it forward back to Human Services, who will put it all together as into one document. Then it will be reviewed again and approved through Human Services, and it'll go up eventually to the Executive Committee and then up to the full board for your approval. Meanwhile, our state's attorney will be holding your hand as you proceed with this to make sure that we are complete legality, that nothing has changed. There may have been some new legislation or law that came through Springfield that we have to be aware of, so we can update it appropriately. Does
And
that make
just for a
sense?
point of clarification, the Human Services Committee wouldn't necessarily be doing the approval. I think it's just the compilation. The jurisdiction is with the Executive
Oh,
Committee.
absolutely.
Right.
But it has to, they have to move it up the food chain.
Exactly.
It has to go up. They have to vote on it.
And I'm sure your notion of a holding hand sometimes feels like a whomp upside the head.
And sometimes that's good too. All right, we have consensus on that. Thank you. Well done. Well done. And Mr. Davis, thank you for your suggestion. Very, very much appreciate it. And Mr. Iqbal, thank you as well. I appreciate that.
Glad you like it. Thank you.
Many hands to make light work. So now it's time for my comments. Just very briefly, we had a very touching memorial service last Friday, and many of you were able to attend. It was sensitive. It was authentic. We had members of our community who did attend, and there were tears. Tears of remembrance, tears of sadness for what Kane County has gone through in the last 2 years. And we all shared a commonality, knowing that we have to maintain our dignity for each other and respect for each other, our kindness for each other, our ability to listen to each other. And that sometimes is very hard when we have diverse opinions. going forward, we know that we're going to continue on with these challenges, that we're in an election cycle. And once again, I want to share with you that here as a board, my office, myself, I respect all of you and I want to listen to your comments. You may have opposition. Republicans may have a Democrat running against you and a Democrat may have a Republican running against you. But when we're here, we are here to govern and we are here to listen and respect each other with kindness, with an open mind, with concern for the people of Kane County and the work that we do here. So I'll keep on encouraging that, and I feel very strongly about that. We are neither Republicans sitting here nor Democrats. We are elected officials to do what's best for the county. And there are some hard decisions to make going forward, and we all know what those decisions are going to be. The other thing I'd like to share with you, because this is Black History Month, and in celebration and in honor of our new voting rights districts, it has been brought to my attention by Pastor Hicks that, and several other people, community members, that the history of Kane County that we have published doesn't support the diversity of Kane County. It's not the real story of who founded Kane County. We have very little reference to our Native Americans who came here, our indigenous people who were the first settlers. We have very little information about African Americans who maybe came in, who perhaps were furniture makers or farmers. We have very little information about women who came in, who helped strengthen the communities. So we're going to take a look at all of this and we'll share it with you when it gets done, but it's going to be a redraft of what the history of Kane County truly looks like, to celebrate its richness and the importance of that, of people, of all of our communities, whether Black, white, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, Muslim, Hindu, so that together we know that this is the fabric of Kane County. So when it gets done, we'll present that to you. And now I give you pleasure. This will be the first time that I will have our new public information officer address you as to the board. She will be crafting this. So I'd like to bring up Julie Mann, and she'll update you about the work that we're doing, or that her office now is doing, in putting a new look, new information to Kane County's website and to the public.
Good morning. I want to just first start off and thank all of you for this opportunity to share the stories of Kane County. I've run into so many wonderfully good people, hardworking people. You should be very proud of the work that this county does, and I'm working very hard to share that information with the citizens of Kane County. I've been here for about a month and a half, and in that time, I've attended dozens of meetings and learned a lot. I appreciate the people who stop into my office and answer my questions and make me better informed about what's going on. We've also been working really hard to build up the social media sites of the county. If you saw when you walked into the boardroom, there's follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Please, all of you, follow us. The content that we're pushing out on social media is very positive. There's board decisions that are in press release form that are going out there. We're getting a lot of engagements from people. People are starting to follow us. And I think we're putting out a lot of really great, unique content, along with things that the board is doing, your different departments and your elected officials. So again, please like us. It's at Kane County Government. Also, I want to say that we have been putting out a lot of unique content. We did get, obviously, the remembrance that we held. We did get stories covered by the local newspaper and a radio station. I think we also had a TV stringer out there, but I think he showed up late. We also picked up coverage from a marriage license story that we enterprised through the clerk's office, and we did get some publicity with the precinct remap. We are planning a week from Saturday to invite the media out to meet the wonderful volunteers who have helped keep the Mass Fact site open. We're going to salute them. Hopefully we'll get a lot of coverage out of that. Those are stories worth telling. And then also we've been supplying a lot of unique content for Kane County Connects, along with a lot of other stuff. But we've really developed a lot in a month and a half. And I encourage you to stop in and say hello. Some of you have done that. I would encourage others to do that. I'd like to get to know you better and find out what is important to all of you. So thank you again.
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr. Surges. Or, oh, I'm
Fraz.
sorry. Mr. Ross.
Fraz speaking. Thanks very much. When you mentioned this history, are you talking about the history that's included on our website?
Yes.
So that's the official Kane County
Correct.
history. So yeah, I strongly support looking at that, especially the Native American aspect, because they were here a long time before us. But you know, in this day and age, with all the sensitivities that are out there, I do get a little nervous when somebody says we're going to rewrite our history. So you said that you would show it to us when it's done. I would like for you to show it to us before it's done
Oh,
in draft form. And if it's going to be a representation of the Kane County Board, I would certainly like to review it.
Of course.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for that. We would not think of anything else.
Madam Chair, Surges, Drew, I agree with you. Julie, does Kane County Connect report to you at this time?
We work in collaboration with each other. Yes.
Okay. Okay,
The office is evolving.
got it. That's all.
Madam Chairman, Alan.
Yes, Miss Allen.
Julie, welcome. Thank you for the hard work. Jack Cunningham in the clerk's office, the county clerk's office, has had a Kane County guide for a long time, for decades, I believe. And its history is very nuts and bolts. Who showed up, who built the first community, that we were a township government, and so on. Would it be possible to maybe network with him? He redoes that guide every few thousand copies or something. And I'm going to guess that what you're working on here would be a good addition to a template that he has used for many years. It would just enhance all of our outreach. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good idea. Thank you. Thank you, Doug. Anything else? Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Julie. So we are now moving on to our zoning petitions. Mr. Martin, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have one matter before us today, that being petition number 4586. That's filed by Mr. Paul Caulfield and others. It regards property with a common address of 0 North 429 Old Kirk Road in Geneva Township. The proposed rezoning sought is from F District Farming to E2-A District Estate Residential. It complies with the 2040 plan. There have been no objectors. There is no regional planning commission jurisdiction. The zoning board voted approval with a couple of conditions attached. The development committee also voted to approval and adopted those same conditions. And I move approval of this petition today and request a second.
Brown second.
Seconds.
Mr. Fraz seconds.
Mr. Iqbal.
A lot of seconds.
A lot of seconds.
Pick your second. All right. Is there any discussion of this? Hearing none, then would the clerk please call the roll?
Allen,
Alan, aye.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Fraz,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Opie,
Opie, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
yeah, Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
and Winnicki.
Yes.
That passes.
Motion carries. The petition is approved. Madam Chair, that concludes the zoning petitions for today.
Thank you very much. Mr. Caulfield, enjoy your new home.
Good.
We are now on to our consent agenda. Would anybody like to remove an item from the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, Dr. Silva.
Yes, yes. Ms.
Good
Dr.
morning.
Silva, please.
22-48, please.
48, she said?
Correct, 22-48.
22-48, very good. Anything else? All right. I'd like to ask for a motion and second to approve the consent agenda with the exception of item number 22-48.
Jeppy moves.
Berman second.
Mr. Berman? Good. Clerk, please call the roll.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Braz,
Braz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Hopi,
Hope yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Surgis,
Surgeon, yes.
Tepe,
Jeppy, yes.
and Winnicke.
Yes.
That passes.
Very good, thank you. Now, may I have a motion and a second to discuss item number 22-48? This
Martin
item was
moves.
removed from the consent
Silva
agenda.
moves.
Dr. Silva, please.
Silva moves. Molina will second.
Good.
Mr. Martin making that motion and second
I
was,
believe that
Dr.
the
Silva.
two women from Aurora would like to support this, so I will withdraw my motion.
okay. Or do we have Molina?
Silva and Myrna Malone.
Okay, I'll have Dr. Silva motion and Molina second. How about that?
Okay, very good. All right,
Thank you.
Dr. Silva, please.
Thank you. I'm wondering if somebody from staff could just expand a little bit on this change order, what it means, and will this hold anything up?
Jody Walnick, the Director of Environmental and Water Resources. The change order is a result of comments that were made from IEPA. We had an understanding that they were ready to issue their permit when we bid the project. Subsequently, we received 2 additional letters with requirements onto the storage tank. And so that, as well as the price of steel, increased the cost of the project. We also found an error in the architect's plans that resulted in some changes to the building that were necessary. So it shouldn't impact anything other than a slight adjustment to the schedule, but we were shut down for winter anyways, and we still anticipate the completion of this project this year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Walnick.
Are you all fine now? Is it, all your questions have been answered?
Yes, Madam Chair. Thank you.
It's a critically important project, and I'm sure that they will move as efficiently as they can to complete it. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay. Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Braz,
Braz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Yes.
Hopi,
Hope yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Surgis,
Burgess, yes.
Pepe,
Yes.
and Winnicke.
Yes.
It passes.
Very good, wonderful. The next item is number 22-66 regarding the American Rescue Plan. May I have a motion and a second?
Sanchez moves.
Thank you, Mr.
Brad
Sanchez.
second.
Big seconds.
Mr. Fraz, seconds. Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is a resolution that will authorize Madam Chair to sign the agreements for the Behavioral and Mental Health Category 1 of the Community Support Grant Program. As Lori Baker had mentioned in her public comment, as one of the 6 organizations, they have all agreed to the amounts to split the pie equally and not be competitive in their bonus amounts. So it's a really great synergy and partnership between everybody to get us this far. And this is the paperwork we need so that Madam Chair can sign those agreements and start getting money to these organizations.
Okay, very good. Do you have a presentation?
I believe Mr. Isaacson has prepared a few slides for us.
Great, thank you and good morning. My name is Michael Isaacson. I'm Assistant Director of Community Health at the Health Department. And I just want to share, I was asked to just share a little bit of background about how we got to where we are with this. So first off, the issue of mental health and substance use continues to increase as a problem affecting Kane County residents. For the community health assessment and current community health improvement plan, which actually I believe is on the agenda today, behavioral health was identified as the top need that our residents are facing. We all know that with COVID, the behavioral health pressures that are on our residents have only increased. Our schools and workplaces are seeing increased reports of anxiety, depression, absenteeism. Unfortunately, over the past year, we saw a pretty significant increase in suicide among those under 30. We saw about a 13% increase in fatal overdoses from 2019 to 2020. We're still evaluating the full 2021 data, but it's not looking positive either. And then, unfortunately, as we see an increased need for services in our community, we're seeing more strain on the providers. So as Ms. Baker and many others have commented to the board, we have fewer resources to help people in a time where we have much greater need. So there's a lot of exciting things underway. I do want to acknowledge the ARPA committee and the full board for taking this issue on. Historically, Kane County has not financially put money in to support mental health. And so I think the decisions that have been made to support this important effort right now are really important. Next slide, please. So how did we get to the 6 organizations? The decision was made that there was going to be a process where funding could quickly get out into the community to have as dramatic an impact as we could, as quickly as we could. So first we looked at what area needed the most help. We conducted focus groups with community members, with organizations. The board hosted listening sessions. And then also through the Kane County Behavioral Health Council, we conducted formal surveys with the providers in the community. In all of those, we clearly heard that staffing is the #1 issue that we're facing right now. So in short, when community members need services, there's frequently not enough people to serve them, which means people have to wait even longer. So then we identified 6 organizations that serve as our community mental health centers and our safety net substance use treatment providers. So these organizations are serving a lot of our Medicaid population and our diverse communities who may be facing extra pressure during the pandemic. Next slide, please. So this is just a handout showing each organization's budget. We have, once we determined that these 6 organizations would be a good way to quickly get funding into the community so that we can increase access to mental health and substance use services, We worked with these groups and as Ms. Baker had mentioned earlier in her public comments, we reached consensus with this group. So even though in reality, these organizations are competing for some of the same people, we determined that it would be better for the community as a whole if we all went forward in the same page. So you can see we agreed on a common funding mechanism for how we could both recruit and retain staff. So this is the budgets that were submitted as part of the ARPA grant application. And next slide, please. And finally, just what is the impact in conversations with these organizations and in their applications? Unfortunately, we've seen that wait lists in some cases have increased by 10 times. So where maybe before 25 people were on a wait list, now well over 250 people are on a wait list. And in some cases, these are critical services that people need. So these aren't just things like you're putting off painting your living room. These may be a 16-year-old who's in crisis and desperately needs treatment. We can serve them in the emergency room, but when they get out, they need more care. And because of the staffing strains that are on our organizations right now, that's very hard to obtain. We have well over 200 job vacancies for people who are directly providing these services just among these 6 organizations. One of the respondents said that their turnover has increased from an annual average of 7.3% to well over 36%. And one reason for this is not only the regular strain that we're all experiencing with this pandemic, but these jobs, we require people to have advanced training, advanced schooling. We're not paying them as much as what they could make in the private sector. And you know, we're not going to compete with the private sector dollar for dollar. But these are jobs where people are called out potentially at all times of day or night. They're going into people's homes in very stressful situations. And we're finding that right now with all the additional pressures that are on everybody, it's just really hard to retain staff and to recruit staff. So just a couple quick examples of things that are going to be specific programs supported with this grant. We do have through these organizations 24-hour mobile crisis response, 24-hour crisis lines, individual and family and group therapy, medication-assisted treatment for substance use disorders, psychiatric services, residential services, outpatient substance use. These are just examples. And again, this funding is really foundational to support all of the behavioral health efforts that these organizations are providing. So just wanted to share a little background. And again, I really want to thank the leadership of the committee and the full board for investing in this, because I can tell you from what we're hearing from our schools, what we're hearing from our families, this definitely is an area that needs much more support. Thank you.
Madam Chair Gums.
Yes, Ms. Gums.
This seems like the perfect door to walk through, so good luck. After hearing that lovely presentation from Mr. Isaacson, I will reiterate again that $4 million is not enough money for these programs. We need to have that conversation. The emergency of a 16-year-old that needs to be in a facility or have treatment immediately far exceeds our internal requests that we're going to think about down the line. So we need to have that conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Madam Chair, Surges, I can't agree more with Ms. Gums. This $4 million we've been pushing for since November to get this out as an emergency situation, and I certainly hope that we can assist further. And then if I may, I don't serve on the Health Committee, but if I can get a shout out there to Michael Isaacson, he is truly, in my opinion, the best of the best. And if the cream rises to the top, my friend, we appreciate everything you do.
Very nice.
Madam Chair Bates, please.
Yes, Ms. Bates.
I want to agree with Ms. Gums, and I also want to add to Mr. Isaacson's presentation that at the beginning of the ARP committee, I called every one of the members of the board to say, where would you like to see this money go? And there were many good nonprofits mentioned, but especially and mostly mental health was top of the list. So this is a great place to start. But like Ms. Gum said, this is just scratching the surface. This is a start. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Madam Chair, Dr. Silva?
Yes, Dr. Sylvan, could you speak a little louder, please?
Yes, I can. My
wonderful, thanks.
apologies. I'm not sure if it's my Bluetooth. I'm having difficulty, but hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, we
And
can.
please forgive the tone of my voice. I am by no means yelling or being argumentative. It's strictly for the purposes of being heard. So I would like to reiterate what my colleagues have said previously regarding the $4 million. I think that is just a drop in the bucket. I would like to believe that we will, that if we get this money out on an emergency basis, that everything will be more streamlined and speedier as we get more of the funds out. I didn't catch the percentage of an increase in suicides, but I pretty much almost stopped listening after I heard that there was such a large increase in suicides and 13% increase in fatal overdoses. I recently met with director and Mr. Isaacson and so many staff that is so key in these services. And by far, we all agree, as does Chairperson Sanchez, that we need to increase more resources. I love the fact that we are offering a $500 bonus for people who perhaps speak Spanish or are licensed. But as one of my colleagues at a recent public health meeting so insightfully put it, we're almost taking advantage of individuals of our own staff if we don't increase their salaries and give them a fair wage. So we forget that if we don't support our staff, they become our clients because they are busy delivering these services, but they have their own mental health needs. They have their own families. So I commend everyone for their work, but do just underscore the fact that we need to apply more funds as we have them and as we learn how to work together in this process. Thank you.
Well said.
Copy.
Yes, Mr. Copey.
Thank you, ma'am. This issue is probably the foremost boots on the ground issue to take on task for these ARP funds. And I'd like to commend Mr. Sanchez for maintaining the extreme focus on this portion of the vetting process of spending this money through his committee, the ARP Funds Committee, and for maintaining an order of decorum for the committee to maintain focus on this issue. But as we all know, there are 10,000 concerns out there, and we all have our individual druthers on how to spend the money. But the committee has done well, and my hat's off to them. And I don't limit to my concern, which is broadband. Which is I consider a revenue source, but if it's not considered, that's fair enough. As long as we continue the approach is satisfactory, in my opinion, and to not forget and in conversations I've had, and conversations we've had as a board in regards to the concerns of the food banks and the actual the extreme needs of human beings, that is what this issue is about, and I think that extends to food banks. So if we could continue that discussion from this point, that'd be great. And again, my hat's off, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Copey. Any other comments? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Allen.
Allen, aye.
Bates.
A big aye, yes.
Berman.
Berman, yes.
Brown.
Brown, yes.
Davis.
Davis, yes.
Ford.
Ford, yes.
Raz.
Raz, yes.
Gums.
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Opie,
Opie, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
right, Surgis,
Surges, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
and Winnicke.
Yes.
It passes.
Wonderful. Ms. Baker, as you are representative of your group, and well done. I look forward to getting this resolution on my desk immediately so I can sign it and we can get the checks out to you and all of your group of the big six. So thanks for your advocacy. Thank you all for your very hard work and your diligence on a very stressful, very challenging issue. And we're here to support you. All right, the next item.
You're here, Madam Chair.
We're all together with this need. I was thinking of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and it's been a while since I've studied it, but I know safety and security, I think, is number one, but number two on that is health. Thanks to a strong judicial system, we have safety and security within Kane County, but health we've got, health needs our help. So we're here. Finance, item number 22-67. May I please have a motion and a second to discuss and
moved.
approve? Thank you.
Council
Wonicky
second.
seconds.
Winnicke seconds.
Nikki seconds. Mr. Berman.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. This, if I think that Mr. Anzik would be available. No?
Mr. Ozick? He is not here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Do you have any comments on this?
Well, I'd be happy to try to explain it briefly. Just 1 second here.
Claire, can you move that down so we can see them?
And Jamie Labrillo's in the room as well.
Right, I'm sorry. I lost my display, so I'm trying to go from memory. Basically, what this is doing, it's just simply trying to correspond with the personnel policy, covering the same item as tuition reimbursement. And it's just reiterating that tuition reimbursement must be in accordance with the approved policy by the county board. And then also that it just makes sure to highlight the fact that the type of tuition and training that is reimbursed is what is allowable by the Internal Revenue Service as being a non-taxable item. And so we were simply trying to focus or highlight the internal revenue portion of the policy, since that's the financial aspect. And that also has to do with payroll, which finance is responsible for processing. So I wanted to make sure that that was addressed. So that's why this is being included in the financial policies.
Are there any other questions? I'm sorry, I was looking forward. Are there any other questions? Yes, Mr. Ekbal.
Yeah, I have a question for Mr. Onzek. Would this be retro effective? For example, because of IRS, would a person who has received and is liable for some taxation, would he go back 2-3 years? Would we inform the employee what action he or she has to take in filing the back taxes?
Yes, to the extent that we're aware of anything of that nature.
Oh, that's a challenging question. Jamie, can you respond to that? And why don't we?
I'm sorry, which Jamie are you?
Oh, yeah, I know.
You
I'm
said two
sorry.
come
We
up,
got-
so.
The Jamies are here.
This is a complicated process now.
Ms. Labrillo, why don't you speak to this?
We have the tuition reimbursement policy up next. This financial policy is just meant to clarify the payroll treatment of the funds associated to make sure we're compliant with the IRS code. It does not affect the taxability. Taxability is set by IRS code, and so our policy does not affect the taxability of those funds, but just make sure it indicates how payroll will treat those funds.
Okay, and I think the question, Ms. Mosser, now if you can respond, is this going to be retroactive or is it as of once it's signed, it goes forward?
So once it's signed, it goes forward. However, anything that's taxable, we can't undo that's federal. So if there's an issue where somebody was in fact given money for this, it would be something that has to be retroactive in terms of taxes.
Okay, and payroll, I understand is going to be taking care of that, correct? Okay.
Madam Chair,
That was a
Sturgis.
yes.
Remember, these two items, 2267 and 2268, are part of a larger issue that we've been trying to address, that we have chosen through the Human Services Committee to try and separate the notion of tuition reimbursement versus continuing education. And then when we open that Pandora's box, there's a bunch of housekeeping issues that needed to be addressed to make sure that our policies are lining up with IRS code definitions and policies. And I believe this is just part and parcel of that.
Okay, okay, very good. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Raz,
Yes.
Gums,
Combs, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Hopi,
Opie, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Jepro,
Jeffro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Surgis,
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
and Winnicke.
Yes.
Passes.
Very good. Last item, may I please have a motion and a second on item number 22-68?
Sturgis moves.
Iqbal seconds.
Okay. And Mr. Iqbal? Mr. Surgis.
I'll let Ms. Labrillo speak to this one, please.
Thank you. We've been in Human Services working on this draft for close to 6 months now. We did get input from the entire board, and it's been fully vetted by the state's attorney's office for compliance with the Internal Revenue Code. We did add some definitions for tuition versus training to the front, as well as to try to expand accessibility of this policy to more employees by increasing the reimbursement rate from 50 to 80% while maintaining the same annual maximum of $2,400, as well as allowing students to defer with the school if the school will allow them to do that, while retaining that it is a reimbursement plan that the employee must complete and show successful completion before getting payment from the county.
Are there any questions on this?
Madam Chair? Dr.
Yes.
Silva? I will be brief, thank you. So I always am of the belief that really good things can come from some not so good things. And I just want to gratitude for the increase in reimbursement rates, as this is something that we can offer our staff, as we've heard before, and as I've mentioned before, with turnover being so high and folks being able to go to neighboring counties and work for sometimes 100% over what they make now. This is a wonderful thing that we can do for them, and just to let them know how much we value them, because obviously they value Kane County, and that's why they're here. Thank you.
Thank you. Very well said. Any other questions? Hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Okay, Ellen,
Ellen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford, yes.
Raz,
Raz, yes.
Gums,
Combs, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Gopi,
Be yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
Pepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
and Winnicki.
Yes.
It passes.
Very good. I
Madam
would,
Chair, before we
yes.
move on, if I could just, last week in our executive meeting, I had a problem with when I went online, my pamphlet didn't match what was handed out and things were off. And then I'm hearing this morning from a member of the audience that what was posted last night doesn't match what was handed out this morning. I just want to make, if it's something that's coming from within
Our system.
our system or our committee, that we at least verbalize that and address it to say, what's going on? We just need to, and Blair did reach out to me and I did not personally call him back and I apologize, sir. So I just wanted to acknowledge that.
I think IT is very much aware of it. I know the staff upstairs is aware of it.
Okay.
And they didn't see the problem when they were looking on screen. So
Yeah, well,
yeah,
and
so we'll,
I apologize.
just so everyone knows that we are attending to this and we've heard their concerns.
And no, and I don't think in any way, shape or form, it's something that's being done maliciously or anything like that.
Oh.
I think there might be something within the system that's not
There's a bug.
what it's supposed to.
Perhaps a
do.
little bug. But before we leave, and see, I don't think we have executive session.
Do.
Oh, we do. Oh, we do.
I have one item too I'd like to mention.
Okay, but I just would like to commend Human Services and the work of Jamie Labrillo and your committee. This was hard work to get this passed for tuition reimbursement, and it took a lot of effort and energy to complete it. So thank you for getting this done and shepherding this through to the board.
Fraz speaking. I just want to address something that one of the speakers, public speakers today, who has been here before and both times implied that our American flag, the gold fringe, has some kind of symbolic meaning. I did a little research and that flag's been there the whole 14 years I've been on the board, that same flag with the gold trim. But the official American Legion site, they're considered the experts in all things flag, say a gold fringe is acceptable. It's considered an honorable enrichment of the flag, especially when displayed in the style that ours is. It's been used since 1835. So whatever conspiracy theories are out there, it doesn't apply.
Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mr. Frost.
Thank you, Mr. Frost.
Yeah, I don't. It's
Grand old flag. All right, so we do have executive session. May I please have a motion and a second to move into executive session, please? A pending litigation.
Board moves. Caius, move. Caius, second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Allen,
Allen, I.
Bates,
Bates, aye.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Board, yes.
Fraz,
Fraz, yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes. Caius, yes.
Gopi,
Be yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Shepro,
Pepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Tepe,
Yes.
and Winnicki.
Yes.
That passes. We're in exec.
We are now moving into executive session.
Okay, everybody online, please be watching for the invite to go into the closed session. Be aware we are live streaming, so until I give you the okay that we are in closed session, please be aware that your thoughts will be going out to the public. Just double checking before I send the invites, ASA Neerman and Aaron Brady both should be included.
I word a lot.
The invites are coming. We're just waiting for a couple of additional people to accept. Is there anybody hearing my voice that feels they should be in the closed session? Just one more moment for YouTube. All right, we are in open session.
We are now in open session. Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Ellen,
I'm present.
Bates,
Bates present.
Berman,
Berman's here.
Brown,
Brown here.
Davis,
Davis here.
Ford,
Board president.
Perez, Gums,
Gums here.
Iqbal,
Iqbal present.
Here.
Caius,
Vice president.
Kopi,
Opie's here.
Leonard,
Leonard here.
Lewis,
Lewis here.
Martin,
Martin present.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Sanchez present.
Jepro,
Shepro present.
Silva,
Silva is here.
Sturgis,
Surges here.
Tepe,
Debbie here.
and Winnicke.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Very good, thank you. Now, may I have a motion and a second to approve the settlement of case number 20L352?
Bates moves.
Thank you, Ms. Bates.
Board second.
Dollar. We need a dollar amount.
I'm sorry. Oh, and the dollar amount of $17,500.
$500.
Okay.
Alan seconds.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Clerk, please call the roll.
Okay.
Right, trouble.
Ellen,
Alan, I.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Brown,
Brown, yes.
Davis,
Davis, yes.
Ford,
Board, yes.
Fraz,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Iqbal,
Iqbal, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Kopi,
Opie, yes.
Leonard,
Leonard, yes.
Lewis,
Lewis, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Sanchez, yes.
Jepro,
Shepro, yes.
Silva,
Silva, yes.
Sturgis,
Surges, yes.
Tepe,
Debbie, yes.
Winnicke.
Yes.
Passes.
Passes. I'd like to turn the rest of the meeting now over to Mr. Kenyon.
I have one thing to tell you about or announce that normally in March, we have Government Day. And we invite the youth from the 4-H program to come in and see how we work. Which kind of, we're gonna move it 1 month back and over to April, hoping for better weather and calm down of all this COVID stack. But there'll be 15 young people coming in here and they'll ask for people to shadow. I'm sure they'll want to go to the state's attorney's office. Maybe they'll get a get out of jail free card.
Well, no, we don't offer that, but I would be more than welcome to have them shadow me and teach them how to stay out of jail.
It's kind of fun and these kids are just trying to learn what we are trying to do.
You've asked for volunteer lists in the past. You just,
You know, they will ask for volunteers,
That-
yes.
Yeah, they'll email us and ask for volunteers.
Okay, very
And the two most popular offices are the coroner and the sheriff,
best to
believe it
get
or
out of
not.
jail free
Honest to
card.
God. Yeah.
Get your own coffin too.
Make mine a little more exciting this year, so the state's attorney will be #1.
It's a good thing. It's trying to teach them what government is about and how we get here.
Very good. I'd go to animal control. Yeah, that would be fun.
And can I add to that? I don't want to take your,
But
can I add to that? Usually at, towards the end of the program, we adjourn our meeting and then we allow them to sit in our seats and we come up with some sort of question they can debate. I think one year was, should we cull deer or should we thin out herds of deer? And so the kids are up here and they actually talk on the microphones and they actually vote.
Very good.
So
Very
it's
good.
really very cool.
it's pretty fun.
It is fun.
And it's refreshing to see that there is a future.
Mhm.
There's the light at the end of the tunnel is not another train.
There's always a light.
Yeah.
There's always a light. Yes, Mr. Ford.
Hopefully, we're on our best behavior that day, so we do not.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that, Mr. What was that?
Yeah, on our best behavior. So I would Move now, we adjourn.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. May I have an aye?
Aye.